Okay, so hopefully you were able to see your answers on that Pear Deck. And now I'm going to stop you. And as soon as this whole entire video is done, you can go through the entire Pear Deck, practice some of those who, what, when, where, whys, writing your objective summary. There's a few articles that you'll need to read. So as soon as this video is done playing and I teach you a little something, you can go through it and submit your final assignment and be done for the day. So part 3 of objective summaries. How do I write an objective summary for a nonfiction article? Well, first of all, it's important to understand and try to figure out the who, what, where, when, and why of the article. Who is it about? What's the main topic of the article? If it tells you the where and the when, sometimes they don't tell you where this is taking place. Sometimes they don't include important dates, but if they do, it's definitely important to include that in your summary. And then definitely the why. Why was this topic written? This particular one, sometimes it's explicit in the text, and sometimes you have to make inferences. You're going to have to dig a little deeper on the why. Now, don't make it up, but again, reading through the article, why was this topic written? Why are we even talking about it or reading about it? Okay, so I'm going to switch to, after I tell you about this, your next activity. What you're going to do is you're going to bring up Nothing Can Stop Him and read the passage. That's step 1 and 2. Then what you're going to do, there's some arrows with the Pear Deck that are going to move you along and ask you a series of questions about the who, what, where, when, and why. And this Pear Deck lets me know if you're on the right track. Did you read the article, number 1? And number 2, do you understand the who, what, when, where, why? Okay? So I'm going to switch to the student mode real fast. To let you know, after you read it, okay, it's going to look like this. Your arrow is going to look a little bit different. It's just a triangle, but you're simply going to move your triangle to where you want it and move on to the next slide. Okay, again, I get information back on my Pear Deck to see how well you've done, so don't just randomly put it anywhere you want and move on to the next slide just to be done with it. Make sure you're showing me that you understand. So you'll move these along to the who and the what, the where, the when, and the why. Okay, you'll move that tiny little arrow and you'll see that when you're done watching this and you are participating in the slideshow. So I have this up here because if you're in person, I would let you work in partners. But you guys, after you figure out the who, what, when, where, and why, okay, you're going to type the actual answer, or you can copy and paste actually into this little, this little chart here, okay, so that you can see the who, what, where, when, and why all in front of you all at once, because you are going to put this information into your objective summary, okay? So after you do that, your final thing that you're going to do for me is you're going to read World Cup controversy, and this is also a very short article for you to read, okay? It doesn't have pictures like the last one, but it's very short. I know for some of you, you're like, that doesn't look short at all, but it actually is, okay? It's just smaller font here. So you're going to read this entire article, and what you're going to do after you read is you are going to fill this in, okay, with the who, what, where, when, and why from the article. And as you're reading it, if you come across it and you're like, oh, well, the who is, and then you can go back here and just type in who it is. All right. If you want to read the entire thing first and then fill this in after, however you feel comfortable is fine. But all this needs to be filled in after you read the article. Okay. And then the final thing for your objective today is that you're going to write me an objective summary. Now, before we go into that, I have put up the mentor text again from yesterday. And remember what a mentor text is. It helps us, gives us an example of what our writing should look like structurally, and the style that it's written. Now, if you're like, I don't know how to start this off, we are going to start it off with the article title and the author, if it's on there. And then you're going to tell me the central idea. Now, we talked about central idea earlier this week, So it's the main idea of this whole article. Like, what's the one point in one sentence that the author wanted you to know? Okay, so your main point goes in the first sentence, and then all this stuff that isn't highlighted is this stuff right here that you put in, the who, what, where, when, and why. Okay, so after you mention the article title and the author, if it's there, and give me the central idea, you're going to put everything else in here. Remember, leave out small details. Give me the main points of the article. Okay, you're going to type it in here. Okay, and I've even given you a hint down here at the bottom of the slide. I'm sorry. And if you need to go back, it says slide 15. Okay, you're going to go back here and you're going to read and look at it and imitate and get some examples of what it should look like and sound like. Okay, so before you get started on the rest of the Pear Deck and you're done hearing me talk, don't forget to submit. It's the blue button at the top right of your Canvas assignment. Do not share it with your teacher. Okay, we don't want a bunch of emails with the actual assignment. We want you to submit it in Canvas. If you have any questions about that, if you ever have any concerns, feel free to email us. But other than that, feel free to go ahead and work on the rest of the Pear Deck and have a wonderful day.